everybody, Greg again from Heck Yeah, You Can Cook. And today we're going to make a slow roast Boston butt, some braised actually, on your stovetop. It'll make a stew. It'll make your whole house smell fantastic. It's something you do on a Sunday or a Saturday. Maybe you have friends coming over on a holiday. It's traditional, but yet unique. We're going to use some ingredients you probably wouldn't think about putting together. Make a slow braise on your stovetop, filling your whole house with just wonderful aromas and, more importantly, great memories. Heck yeah. While I've got your attention, everyone please like, share, and subscribe. We love getting new subscribers every day. Check us out on all the social medias and join our Facebook group. All under Heck Yeah, You Can Cook. Now, before we get started, let's talk about the tools you're going to need today. Now, any type of 7-quart stock pot. Here I've got my chef pot going right now, and I have got this preheating on low heat with the lid on, because we're going to do some searing in just a minute and to get the dish started. Now, before you get into this is going to take about 15 to 20 minutes of prep, depending how fast you cut. And then it's going to take, about maybe 15 minutes to get it started. And then once you get it started, the stovetop does the rest. It's going to take about 2 hours of slow cooking, filling your house with that wonderful aroma. Now, let's talk about the tools you're going to need. In addition to the stock pot, you're going to need a very good fillet knife because we're working with the Boston butt here. If you cannot find bone-in Boston butt, country style short ribs will work with this as well. It's just going to take a little more work at the end to get that apart and off the bone. But you can use country style ribs, and I have for this recipe. You're going to need a pair of tongs because you're going to be doing some searing on the pork in just a minute. Now you're going to need a couple spoons. Now I like my wooden spoon that's got a sharper edge to it because there will be some deglazing and scraping that you're going to do. It also helps kind of keep that bottom moving while it's cooking on the stovetop. You're going to need your regular spoon. All right, nice heavy wood spoon. This one's got a little bit of an edge too, so you can use both of them. And you're going to need a variety of knives, depending on what kind of knives you have. Now, you just don't have to have this variety. I just like to use this. The more ingredients you're going to need. Now, this is one of my creative meals. Okay, so this is not going to be quick and easy. Just understand, these are very stock ingredients. You may have these in your pantry already or in your fridge. This is 2 pounds of potatoes, and I have cubed them. I'm going to do a little close up here. They're about 2-inch cubes. All right, or quarters, probably a better way to say it. And this is they don't have to be small because they're going to be cooking for a very long time. I've got 1 pound of turnips here. Once again, cut into those 2-inch cubes and wedges. I've got 1 red onion here. Now I've roughly sliced it. Basically, these are slices in half. You cut it in half and then cut it in half again. I don't want to spend too much time in the video showing you how to do that, but this is about the texture and size that you're looking for. You got 3 whole garlic cloves here. What I've done is I've smashed them and then I've chopped them. They're just roughly diced. This is going to be adding a lot of flavor. I'm going to use that early in the dish. I've got 3 stalks of celery, and it's cut in about 2-centimeter pieces, and those are ready to go. And I've got 1.5 pounds of carrots, and this is the easiest thing to prep. I buy this bag pre-washed, pre-cut. I've got a 29-ounce can of tomato sauce. Now you can use paste, but I like the sauce here because I like the liquid part of it because we're actually cooking it and braising this for a long period of time. I have got 2 ounces of rosemary. This is fresh rosemary. You can use dry. I prefer fresh for this dish. And you are going to use all of this, and we're going to add those sprigs in as we're cooking. We have got 1 tablespoon, it's a heaping one because I like the paprika here. I've got 1 tablespoon of cumin. I've got 3 bay leaves. I've got 1 tablespoon of olive oil. That's just to get this seared and started. I've got 2 tablespoons of balsamic vinegar. All right, balsamic vinegar. I've got 1 tablespoon of salt, and I've got 1 tablespoon of cracked black pepper. For the end of the dish, when you're finishing up for the last phase, you're going to need 1/4 cup of sugar, just regular granulated sugar. And of course, the star of the show is I've got 2.5 pounds here of a Boston butt. And what I've done, and I'll zoom in here, is I have trimmed off the excess fat. Now, some pieces will have this, some pieces won't. I'm not going to use that in, and I've kept the bone in. Just trim off any of the excess fat that you have. Now, before we go over to the stovetop, what y'all like to do to the pork is like to season both sides. So just take some light salt, some of the salt that you set aside, rub that in. Same thing for the black pepper. And remember, there's two sides to every story. Now it's going to be ready to sear. And what we're going to do now is we're going to add a tablespoon of this olive oil. I add half of the garlic at this time. Get the garlic going. Let that go about a minute or so, and then we're going to sear our pork right on top. Now remember, we're not cooking this, so this only takes about a minute per side, and I'll show you a little trick of how to stand it up on its end. Turn over, give each side about a minute. Heck yeah, this smells good. Kind of stand it up, just like that. Get that side in there. If your pot is not big enough to do this in, you can do this in a separate frying pan. I just like to do it all in one. Or another option is to cut this in half. Now that we've got that brown, we take it off and set it aside for later. Throw in the rest of your garlic, and this is where I add the balsamic vinegar and kind of scrape off the bits that came off of the pork. Increase your temperature to medium. Right at 5. Add your celery. Add your onions. And at this time, I add my salt and my pepper. All of it. Begin stirring that through. Once you hear it start to sizzle like that, that's when I add my tomato sauce. Turn it back down to low. Got that temperature up. Stir that in. Now notice we didn't soften these vegetables because they're going to be cooking for about 2 hours. They're going to soften plenty while they're in there. Just kind of get that flavor release started. Now this time we're going to stir in our potatoes, our turnips, and our carrots. Now we add the spices. Now I just break these apart as I put them in. A couple big sprigs in there. Drip the rest right in. Stir some more. Now to start with, I just set the pork right on the top. And we're going to let all that flavor come up from the bottom. We're going to cover this and we're going to set it on number 3. Okay, that's low medium heat. And we're going to come back in 30 minutes. Okay, we've let another hour go by. Full of 2.5 hours of cooking time. Now it's time to test the pork. What you want to have here is you want your pork to be absolutely fork tender, and break apart. We reach in here now, find that Boston butt. Oh yes. We're really close to being able to shred that. So I'll take this off for just a second. See how it's separating from the bone? Right. Pork tender. That's exactly what we're looking for there. Stir this up real quick. We're going to set the pork aside to cool. We're going to let this thicken just a bit. How we do that is we're going to let it just simmer, uncovered now, let all the steam escape for about 10-15 minutes while we actually shred the pork. Set a bowl out over here. You see our pork just coming right off. What I like to do is just kind of pull it off the bone. See how soft it is. Candy meat fork. Now the bone just comes right off. That's what you're looking for. You set that in your bowl. Now you're going to take your pieces you have right here. Now you simply shred them with a fork. And don't forget at this time, we're simmering the rest of the vegetables and potatoes, letting that liquid condense right behind it. You can use a knife to help shred some of the thicker pieces. Again, it's a little extra work. Make you a legend though. Now we're going to take all this pork. So you have 2 platefuls. We're going to go back to the stew, which has been sitting there simmering. We're going to add it back in. We're going to let it cool all the way down. You see we've been simmering here. Stir that again. Pull that pork. You can catch a bay leaf. Pull it out. There's one. We'll work our pork back in. Stir that back in. Now I'm going to turn off the heat. We're going to come back in about 20 minutes, maybe 30. Let that cool off, thicken some more, and serve. I'll suggest that when you do serve this, you serve it with a side of something green. It could be collards, it could be green beans, broccoli, but just add that color to the side of your dish. All right, everybody, we've allowed it to cool for 20 minutes. Now it's time to serve. So thick and hearty, you can put it on a plate. Serve it with a side of green beans, maybe some collards. And of course, I would serve it with some hearty bread. You can find a couple of recipes of bread on my YouTube channel. There it is, pulled pork stew. Slow braised, about 2.5 hours. Something you can't make in a jiffy, but if you got a Sunday afternoon, or a weekend day, or a holiday, wonderful. We'll feed a bunch of people. Got lots of veggies. Slow cooked, delicious. Everyone have a great day.